Hello friends, about to start the video. I'm not in it again, my camera didn't work, whatever, forget about it. You can hear me talking, it's fine. I'm still smiling, I'm still healthy, hope you're well, have a good day, let's jump into the charts. Hello friends, let's take a look at Tezos together. Daily Tezos technical analysis here with Rocky Outcrop, your pal. Thanks for tuning in, really appreciate it. Share the video with a friend if you've got one that you think would like it, and all this sort of stuff as well. And let's just see, will Tezos, wonder if Tezos will become one of the biggest, most popular coins watched on YouTube. I wonder, will it become that at some point in the future? Tezos is an exciting one with its with its overall nice upward price action we've had. Looking back the way, you know, if you do keep zooming out, you get, which is great compared to a lot of the altcoins out there in the world that have had essentially the opposite going on for them. So so let's take a look at this. That's the 4-hour time frame that we're looking at there, and this is the Coinbase chart, I believe. So let's just have a quick look then versus the Bitcoin prices, how we've been doing recently, what our next sort of targets are, 24-hour time frame, where we need to act as support, all that sort of stuff. Is it divergent or whatever? Jump over to the dollar prices and do the same sort of thing and try and narrow down our sort of or consolidate our thinking, give us some context and all the rest of it. I'm not a financial advisor, by the way, none of this is financial advice, but we're all Rocky Outcropticians together, and it's nice to share our thoughts and all that sort of jazz. So where have we been then? Where have we coming to? Where have we gone on the versus Bitcoin pairing? Well, we went up as high as 3,200 area, where we saw a cut for a few days in a row. We came up, tippy tapped our heads off the top of that, and then dropped back down a wee bit afterwards, which is the 50% retracement line. Is that much of a surprise? Not really. Dow told us like near enough 100 years ago that this is the sort of thing that happens quite a lot. So you know, there's that, and then what have we done since? Well, we've come near enough down to the 382, and we've been supported by it. Excuse me as I get a little bit of wind, and where the 50 simple moving average is coming in at here in the daily time frame, and that's been good. And here's something that I point out from time to time, just because, you know, it's interesting that people talk about corrections happening in markets when things have moved more than 20%. Don't look at the world. Keep your eyes off of things like this if we want to just be positive about things. Bear in mind that, by the way, there's a lot of risk in the world at the minute, and you know, we could be seeing all sorts of things happening. In fact, the price of oil has gone up more than 10% since I filmed the Bitcoin one earlier on, so that's interesting, or about 10%, sorry. And you know, the world is extremely volatile right now. If a big chunk of the market and volume and or money, cash, gets withdrawn from all sorts of things in the world, you know, that could always happen. But let's just look at the technicals and see, and we'll leave the sort of those fundamental world-crushing doom aspects until we have to sort of cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose. But seeing as long as the price stays above this 3,000, then we're doing all right. And this is the thing I like to point out again, as we know, 20% correction in terms of just economics or whatever is when you're in correction territory, you could be looking for more downward action if you go past 20%. And another way of looking at it is the 236 Fibonacci line here. So I appreciate that I'm drawing this in right to left, by the way, but you only ever do them left to right. It's that you choose the bottom point. I'll just draw it left to right so I don't confuse people. Sorry. Obviously, if you're choosing the 2 points correctly, then you can have it lined up whatever way you like, just for the benefit of looking at them, but I'll do it correctly so we don't get confused. So drawing that in more or less body to body, you can see the 236 is coming in where the 382 is on this overall move, and that ties in at where when having touched the 50%, moving down to the 382, that's the equivalent of a 236 Fibonacci retracement. So that's why it's important, of course, and crucial to keep above this 236 level over here at 3,000, and that's what I want to see happen. And going below that, then I'm going to ask various questions for 10% moves towards the downside thereafter. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but would not be surprised to see the prices go down to 2,800, for instance, that we spoke about so often, if the prices were to actually break on but down below that there level. There's no divergence here to be worried about so far, apart from on the MACD, really. on the daily time frame. Everything else is convergent, so that's good. Of course, we're in the stochastics, we're in this oversold territory, overbought territory, sorry. But that's okay. We've been rejected from the bullish control zone at the same time, and on the first pass, that's what often happens, as we expect. Let's give it another bash and see, and at the same time try and break above that 50%. The next target to the upside would be another solid move up there at 3,443 or so, should that happen. So that would be the bullish side of things. And let's look down at the smaller time frames and see, is there anything happening? This is the 21 EMA. Always good to know where that is, I suppose, on every time frame, just to give you a rough idea about the current trend. And we're above that currently, as we see the price of the EMA's prices in that there at 3,120, and we're at 3,140. So we're just above that currently, but we're below the 50 simple. I obviously want to see it moving above that there, and but this is just the way. This is the very tail end of the price. Let's have a look at how we've been getting on so far coming up here. Well, between this high and the ultimate high, there was divergence across the board there. Not a surprise then to see us coming in here and potentially going and setting a lower low and having a little bit of a downward trend as a result of the back of that, but maybe not. This could be the play out from that. The crucial areas 3,000 to be aware of, to try and keep above. But if we did go down below 3,000, we'd be doing it with having had a little bit of bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame in the run up to it. But there wasn't any on this big move up the way, which is good to see. And this could just turn around and play out in and around these areas. Let's take a look at confused picture. This is in a negative positioning, but of course the ADX is going to the downside and is below, is not actually trending. So I mean, could we see us consolidating in around this area for a wee while? Sure, we sure could, and that would be of course consolidating a sort of bearish point of view. Between the 0 and the 236, and kind of will we break it and go towards the downside? From a bullish point of view, consolidating between the 382 and the 50%, and can we break that towards the upside for a golden pocket move, perhaps even as far up as 3,450? So that's that. Let's take a look at the dollar price and say, look, oh, this channel just kind of it jumped there a second and fit its price action back on. Of course, if you change these things from log and linear, then it slightly changes the position of diagonal lines on charts, but whatever. You can see we came up and touched off the top and around those highs. We thought we might be the high there at the weekend and everything at 235, 237, almost 240 was it? And then it's come down subsequently. Did we have a higher high here? We didn't actually have a higher high over here in the 4-hour time frame. So this descending action here isn't divergent, so this is okay. But we have had this sort of lower low, suppose you could say, if you consider this to be the previous low. Again, as this was being put in, we talked about that being a bit kind of rich to say that because it's so shallow. But again, you could say so, and then and it's not exactly, well. Then we have to ask the question, are we going to put in another lower low, in which case you'd have a trend down here, and we could look towards this as whether or not it could turn into being positive, bullishly divergent, which is set up to do at the minute if it wanted to do so. For instance, being rejected by the bearish control zone down there, having come back out of being oversold conditions immediately upon asking the question, and then and that sort of a thing. So you could see that happening, and if this were to then converge, twist around, and the ADX stay up there in around that 20 area, then we could reinitialize a positive trend there, and that would be good. Maybe even ask the questions of breaking out of this thing. Of course, the 50% on this move is in around about the $2.50. You spent enough time talking about the Fibonacci ideas on the Bitcoin price, so you can extrapolate from that essentially. But so that's where that 250 is in at, and the 382, as it happens, is more or less in there at the current price. We want to see the prices in terms of dollars staying above the 215, as we've spoken about quite a lot recently, and above this 55 EMA here, and moving back up the way. We really do want to see that going on up and trying again. But of course, if we don't get up above 235, then we're sitting in a lower high and we could be consolidating for a wee while. This is just the way this is going at the minute. Let's take a look at the 24-hour time frame. Of course, anything higher than down here at 189 is a higher low. So this is just the price action we kind of maybe anticipated. We've come down, we've touched the 50 simple, and we've been supported by it so far, and that'll be right in the middle line of this channel, so that's good. Oh, and that'll have to sum us up for today. I'm sorry, Amit, by the way, you asked if I take a look at Bollinger Band thing. I forgot again actually today to do that, so I'm sorry about that. I apologise to you if you're watching this far in the video, then you caught that. And thanks to everybody else for tuning in and viewing as ever, by the way. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the likes, comments, subscribes, and the support that I've got from everybody out there as I've been doing this so far. It's been overwhelming. I'm absolutely blown away by it, and I massively appreciate it. So thanks to every single last one of you. Of course, that's all down to you for having helped get the channel to where it is today, and that's fantastic. So thank you so much, and let's just keep the good vibes going. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow, of course.